Okay, so the Southeastern Ohio Center for Independent Living is an advocacy group for people with disabilities in Fairfield and Ross Hocking counties. We offer 5 core services: information and referral, independent living skills, advocacy, peer support, and community transition. The community transition is divided into 3 prongs. One is high school transition, so from high school to real life. Nursing home transition and nursing home diversion. So that's basically the 5 core services that we have. You have to have a disability to qualify for any services. We have had money from the CARES Act, which we've used since June, I think. And so we've had 2 different programs. The second one going on right now, where you can receive food assistance, utility assistance. You have to have disability, and there is an application to fill out. So as well as provide some documentation regarding disability, as well as whatever it is to help with. So bills, that kind of thing. So you can call us to request an application and go to our website at www.socil.org. So, and one more thing I wanted to mention is we had over the summer photography classes, and I hope to do it again this summer. There will be more advanced. That summer was very beginning oriented. So I hope to do more advanced classes that summer, so stay tuned for that. So that's what I have. Jeff.
All right, good morning. This is Jeff with Socil. I'm an independent living advocate, and I am in charge of the adapted sports program with Socil. And right now we have 6 different programs. We have wheelchair basketball, wheelchair football, pickleball, bocce, cornhole, and disc golf for people with disabilities. And also we have a separate for disc golf for veterans with a disability, because we kind of use that as a peer support group as well. All of our sports are free to participate, ages 8 and up, with all abilities. So it doesn't matter what your disability is, you can join us. We provide the equipment, like with wheelchair basketball and football. We have the sports chairs that you can borrow, that you come in and are already set up and everything, and you play. But everybody that plays the sports have to use one of our sports chairs. That's just for safety reasons and for make it an even leveling field. You do not have to utilize a wheelchair on an everyday basis to play our wheelchair sports. We'll teach you how to use them and how to take care of them and everything like that. It's a lot of fun. We adapt all the sports to the different abilities of each athlete. So like with our 4-foot basketball, if you have a little bit of mobility, we can lower the rim so you can still participate. The one thing that we like to do is safety, sportsmanship, teamwork, and having fun is one of our main priorities during our sports. And here's a list of some of the benefits for being able to experience playing the sports. It improves your quality of life, including mood and well-being. It increases muscle strength and stamina, reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety, and has improved social life and family life. Now, this has been a proven fact through the, they've done many studies through like the Disabled Sports of USA, Different colleges have done it, and the importance of activity with people with disability has been proven that the more you do, the better life quality you have. Uh, so that's why we try to offer a variety of different sports. I try to keep it within like the footballs during the football season, the basketballs typically during the basketball season. Bocce usually runs right after basketball. Uh, and what's fun about that is the wheelchair football was going to be our second season this year, but unfortunately with COVID, we had to cancel. But our first season was a huge success. We were fortunate enough to have the Fairfield County Sheriff's Department come out and scrimmage our athletes. We kind of spread a little bit of disability awareness to the Sheriff's Department. And everybody had a blast during it. And then for basketball, we do a tournament up in Columbus, and I think it's the end of February. It's an all-day event. We play different teams with different abilities. I guess Columbus has a student body of able-bodied students that come in, get in the chairs, and they even play. You get trophies and pizza and all that on that day. And then the bocce, we actually go up for another tournament up in Columbus, and it actually is a Paralympic regional final. So you're actually going to see people that are competing to get to the Paralympics. Most of our athletes, though, we're in the open division because with Paralympic bocce, you have to have CPE or something in a wheelchair. I'm trying to think. Sorry, my mind went blank. Do you want to say something, Scott? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Yeah, so it's really neat to see and watch some of these players because I mean they're insanely good. In football, we were going to have another tournament up in Columbus and then also work a tournament down here in Lancaster. But like I said, with COVID, it kind of struck us down a little bit. And unfortunately, all of our sports are kind of on hold right now until the COVID cases go down and it'll be safe for the athletes to be able to participate. Now with pickleball, that's another one of our sports. We started it last year as well. Most people don't really know what pickleball is. So it's a cross between tennis, badminton, and ping pong or table tennis. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, we adapt it to the abilities of each person. And the rules are real simple. And it's a lot of fun. It'll definitely get your heart rate going. I was actually sore after the first time I played it the next day. My legs were a little sore. And then we started cornhole this year. And it's basically like all of our sports, we adapt it, but we usually use the junior level of the USA Cornhole Association's rules. But we also, you can do the regular rules as well if you're capable of. We haven't really got to go too far with that as well because of COVID. But I'm hoping to be able to start it back up in spring because we can do that outside or inside. And then with disc golf, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of disc golf. It is it's kind of, they call it a disc golf disc, but it's actually just kind of like a modified Frisbee that you throw just like on golf. You have holes 1 through 18. Each hole has a different par or how many throws you can go to it. And then the tee or the hole has like a little basket with chains on it. That is where you try to get your Frisbee to go into, or your disc golf or disc. We've had a couple different places around Fairfield County that is pretty accessible. We like to go to the one in Bremen because it's flat and it's really accessible even if you utilize a wheelchair. And we base it off of your ability on that too. So if it's a par 3 but you don't have the strength to do a par 3, we change it to like a par 5 or 6. It just depends upon what your ability is. And with the disc golf for veterans, we usually go to Flat Rocks here in Lancaster. It's up off by the Rising Park. It's a real beautiful setting. It's nice just to get out and throw some disc and get out in nature. You'll see deer, you'll see squirrels, and we'll teach you everything and everything about disc golf. I actually have a friend of mine, he helps me out with that, and he's been playing disc golf for many years, and he's really good. And he's been teaching me as much as he can. And then, let's see, I think that's all of our sports that we have, but we are always looking for new sports to add. So if you have any suggestions or we have enough need for it, we would love to hear about it. And we're always looking for locations to hold our sports, because right now basketball is held in Hawking County, but I'd love to get it up here in Fairfield County. Football is held only in Fairfield County, which I'd love to get it down to Hawking County as well. But we're always looking for a place to hold these sports, and we've been fortunate enough to work with the Recplex here in Lancaster for our football team, and also Forest Rose. They allowed us to do bocce last year before the pandemic started, and I'm hoping to be able to work with them again in the future to start that. And we got some new equipment this year. We got two new bocce ramps for bocce, obviously, so that way people that are unable to throw the balls will be able to participate better. These are really nice ramps. These are kind of what they would use if they ever went to the Paralympics. But it's an amazing thing. It's fun. We work hard and we play harder. And I think that's all with the sports. But now I would like to talk about, we are starting a new online fitness club. We partnered with Spirit Club, which they're out of Maryland, I believe, or Massachusetts, one of the two. And they do online fitness club or fitness classes, and there's a variety of different classes. They have strength training, cardio, boxing, yoga, Zumba, meditation is a couple of them that we're going to do. We're starting that Monday, December 14th at 1 p.m. So you would need to email me at jwsocil@gmail.com to register for those. It's open for anybody with a disability. They have multiple trainers with multiple views on it. So that way, for the different abilities, like if you need to sit, you can still participate. If you're in a chair, you still be able to participate. Or if you are more advanced, you can still participate. Or just even if you're beginning, you can still do it. We're going to change the classes up every time, because it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. via Zoom. And I would send out the link and the password to make it more secure monthly. And then we would log in and just do the classes together. Trying to look over my notes, sorry. Make sure I got everything. And the Spirit Club will be free to participate as well. And you can do all the exercises at the comfort of your own home, so you don't need to have the weights, the different equipment that they have. It's all going to be something that you can do from home. That's, I think, everything that I have. Unless anybody has any questions on any of the sports or Spirit Club.
Hey, Jeff, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about like cornhole and the disc golf is the modification of the rules. Why do you do that? Or like for par? I just know when I go to a golf course, the course doesn't modify the par for me,
Yeah.
no matter how good I'm playing that day.
Yeah, well, it's just because all the sports are adapted to the ability of a person, because it wouldn't be fair for somebody that, okay, like myself, who has full body movement and more, my disability is just more mental, to play against somebody that has very little body movement. So we try to even the playing field. Like with, for example, with like, even with adapted tennis, a person that utilizes a wheelchair, they actually get 2 bounces to hit the ball compared to somebody, an able body, that has 1. So all the sports are adapted to the ability of the athletes on all sports.
Okay. Do you think that, I'm just curious about this, the idea of, maybe this is a deeper conversation for another time, but just the idea that I wonder if sports in general, instead of having the adapted, but just how the rules are formulated to begin with in order to be more inclusive of all people versus without the idea that somebody would need it to be accommodated or adapted in the original rules, but just something to maybe think about, or for advocating purposes. But and then you mentioned, are these are available to anybody, not just people with disabilities, right?
Well, they are open for mainly strictly people with disabilities, but if for like, say for wheelchair basketball, if we don't have enough people to come in to do a practice, and because we always do like a little scrimmage afterwards, we would get parents or anybody else that was there. 2 years ago, we actually had Logan High School varsity basketball team come in and get in the chairs and play with the athletes. So it's, I mean, it's kind of like an inclusion thing too, but we strictly maintain for people with a disability. But I will always accept, if somebody wants to come in and we have the room for it, they can join us.
Okay. So you guys don't push for inclusion then with your offerings?
Not right now, because it's more just recreational, but it is something that I would love to get further into, because this is it's only technically my 2nd year of sports, so I'm still learning as myself as I go, but I would love to get it to be more inclusive. I mean, because that's the goal of this, and but it's just trying to, right now, with space and the activities, we just, right now, we have it strictly for people with disabilities. But like I said, if we have able-bodied people there and I have enough chairs or the need, they're more than welcome to come in and join the practices and play the scrimmages and everything, because it is, I mean, it's good for them to realize like the fun that we can still have and include people that normally wouldn't be included. My ultimate goal is to get actual competitive sports in schools, because there's actually 5, I think it's 5 schools in Ohio that have wheelchair basketball teams that compete for their school. But that's something that is a very future goal of mine.
This is Jordy Stringer. If I might jump in for just a second to illuminate kind of what Jeff is referring to. So typically, Centers for Independent Living are designed and run by people with disabilities for people with disabilities. And so typically, provided you're not using certain grant dollars, there's not the opportunity for inclusion. However, there are definitely places for inclusion. In fact, this past year, even during the pandemic, we actually had a inclusive photography class where half of the class were people with disabilities and the other half were folks without disabilities. And so we strive for that. Unfortunately, we can't make it happen in every single space, but that definitely is something that the independent living movement kind of strives for. So I just wanted to share that with you all.
Jordy, so cool to hear from you. This is Pam. We've spoken in the past, but I've never really spoken with you in real life. So thank you for chiming in on that, because I just thought that was something that you guys really strove for. I was kind of confused at all the segregation. And so I wanted to know a bit more about why that was to be, just because there's so many offerings in our community as well. And some of these things seem so fun that, like, I would like to participate, and I don't know how that could happen if it was only designed for. I feel like it's just a missed opportunity for a lot of relationship building, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, it's definitely something I would love to do. I mean, because having more inclusion, especially with the sports, would be phenomenal. But it's one of those things that's Jordy and I maybe going to have a further discussion on. For maybe even future sports, because I think it would open it up a whole new ball game per se. On
Absolutely, and we are even in the very near future about to start what's called the Spirit Club, and I think there's going to be some real opportunity for inclusion there as well. We're going to be talking about exercise and strength building and different things of that nature, and we'll be offering that through Zoom. And so there's no reason why, you know, somebody who's at home, who's just at home hanging out and doesn't have a disability can't join that and can't see other people with disabilities, you know, who are functioning and living their lives as well and being independent. So we definitely will have that conversation but that's definitely something we're striving. So I appreciate your comments and your question.
Yes.
Jeff, I don't have any other questions in the chat. Did you want to pass it over to Jordy? Did he have other things to present? Or no? Or is he just going to be on the call?
No, I was just here. I think the gentleman did a good job of explaining things. We're definitely always available if anybody has any questions. I don't know if I heard the guys mention the website. I'm kind of multitasking, but if you do go to our website, just know that it's still kind of a work in progress. I know Scott mentioned, I think I heard him mention earlier, the fact that we have a COVID assistance application that purports to be based on our newsletter on the website, but we've been having a bit of a tough technical difficulty with our websites for the last probably 6 or so months, but we believe we have that now in hand, and so individuals will very soon be able to go there and be able to get most up-to-date information about all the programs and all the things that we're doing here at Socil. So I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with the community this morning, and feel free to reach out with any other specific questions you might have.
Jordy, you can also sign up for your newsletter on the website. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, because I get the newsletter and that always has updated information. So if anybody would like to get that, you know, monthly, they could sign up there. I also had one other question. Long ago, I had, my son was diagnosed with Tourette's, and I had a problem trying to figure out what to do with an IEP and a 504, and I met with Scott. So my son is now 17 almost, and he was 5 at the time. Do you guys still have that opportunity? Like, I know you have a link for an IEP app in the newsletter. So I wanted you to kind of touch on that if you could. And then do you still offer those classes for people in the community when it comes to those educational services?
Yes, yeah, so I don't want to get into that because of time, but I do IEP advocacy. One of my favorite things to do is IEP advocacy. So yes, and there are very many apps to help with IEPs that I found, except for my IEP meeting. It's one of the only ones that I found. But it's basically an organizational app to help parents keep everything in one spot. But yes, I still do IEP advocacy. I love to do it. Yes.
Okay.
To take it just a step further, and Scott is going to be surprised by this. Recently, Socil invested in a curriculum for parents specifically to go through the IEP process, and so we just got those binders in a couple weeks ago. And Scott, you'll be preparing one of those classes coming up in the spring. So thanks for that question. Appreciate
Surprise, Scott. Surprise.
that.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, because I know that really helped us when we needed it. And it was amazing to be able to come in and meet one-on-one and talk about, you know, our personal situation and figure out what we needed to do, you know, to get those services. And so that was a big help for us. So I just wanted to clarify that you guys did still do that.
And we try to have an IEP clinic with a representative from the Ohio Coalition for the Education of Children with Disabilities. We have that is hit and miss because a lot of times when we try to have that event, I think parents are either it's okay or not okay, and maybe 6 months later it could be not okay. They don't know they have the issue until they have the issue. You know,
Yep.
so to have that kind of event to bring people in, and it's just kind of like, well, I don't need it now, so I'm not going to go.
Yep.
And then people say if they need it, you know, so it's hard to have those kinds of things that we try.
Yeah, we really appreciate that work you do. Okay, so I don't see any other questions in the chat. So if no one else has anything, I want to say I appreciate you guys taking time out to be on virtual community today. And again, if you guys want to sign up for a newsletter, you can go on the Socil website. I listed it in the comments. And then I wanted to remind everybody coming up on Thursday, I have to remind myself, Bottoms Up Diaper Drive will be on virtual community on Thursday. We're looking forward to hearing from them. So again, we thank you guys for being here today, and maybe you could join some of our other calls if you have extra time on your hands. You want to learn about other things we have going on too.
Let's keep me posted.
All right, I'll put you on the list.
All right.
All right. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks, Scott and Jeff.
You're welcome. Thank you.